Rome, the most powerful city in the world. But one night, this city was consumed by flames. One of the greatest fires in history had begun, and there is a story told about that night. While Rome was burning, it is said that Emperor Nero was playing music. But did this really happen, or is it one of the greatest legends in history? Today we will explore the truth behind the Great Fire of Rome. If you want to see more history videos like this, don't forget to like the channel and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, let's begin. In 64 AD, Rome was one of the largest and most powerful cities in the world. More than 1 million people lived in this massive city, the very heart of the empire. The streets were crowded, the markets were loud, and life flowed through every corner. Narrow streets were packed tightly together. Most buildings were made of wood, and houses stood so close they almost touched. Shops filled the lower floors, while small apartments above were home to hundreds of people. But this great city was also extremely dangerous. Because of its narrow streets and wooden structures, Rome was highly vulnerable to fire. A single spark could change the fate of the entire city. On a hot night in July, a fire broke out in Rome. The flames first appeared near the Circus Maximus. At first it seemed like a small fire, and no one could imagine how large it would become. But the wind quickly fueled the flames. The narrow streets and tightly packed wooden buildings allowed the fire to spread rapidly. The flames jumped from one building to another. Soon, entire neighborhoods were trapped in the blaze. People began fleeing their homes. Smoke filled the sky and panic spread throughout the city, and before long, Rome was burning. The fire burned relentlessly for 6 days. Driven by strong winds, the flames spread from street to street. The narrow roads and tightly packed wooden buildings made it nearly impossible to stop the fire. People were forced to abandon their homes. Many fled the city in panic, leaving everything behind. The streets were filled with smoke, chaos, and desperate cries. As the days passed, much of Rome was reduced to ashes. Neighborhoods that had once been crowded and full of life were now covered in burned ruins and debris. Out of the city's 14 districts, 10 were completely destroyed. Temples, homes, and markets disappeared in the flames. One of the greatest disasters in the history of Rome was unfolding. When the fire began, Emperor Nero was not in Rome. At the time, he was staying at his villa in Antium, far from the city. News of the disaster quickly reached him. He was told that the flames were spreading rapidly and that much of the city was in danger. As soon as he heard the news, Nero set out for Rome without delay. According to historical sources, when he arrived, he ordered relief efforts to begin and open public spaces for people who had lost their homes. But as the fire continued to spread, rumors began to grow among the people. Some started to believe that the emperor himself might be responsible. Even though Nero had returned to the city, the rumors had already spread across Rome. A story soon began to spread among the people. According to the rumors, while Rome was burning, Emperor Nero was playing music. Some claimed he was performing with a lyre, singing like a performer on a stage. Others said he stood watching the flames of the city while singing about the fall of Troy. Over time, this story became one of the most famous legends in Roman history. But historians are still not certain if it is true. Because there is no clear historical record that proves the story actually happened. After the fire, the people of Rome were filled with anger and fear. Much of the city had been destroyed, and thousands of people were left homeless. Soon, many began to blame Emperor Nero. Some believed that he had deliberately ordered the city to be burned so he could rebuild Rome into a more magnificent capital. According to certain rumors, Nero even planned to clear large areas of the city to build a grand palace for himself. Whether these claims were true or not remained uncertain, but the rumors spread quickly throughout the city. Distrust grew among the people of Rome, and these accusations began to shake the authority of the empire. To escape the accusations, Nero tried to redirect the anger of the people. He needed someone else to blame for the disaster. At that time, there was a small and little-known religious group in Rome. They were the Christians. Many Romans already viewed them as strange and dangerous because their beliefs were new and unfamiliar. Because of this, it became easy to place the blame on them. Nero publicly accused the Christians of starting the fire. Soon after, arrests began across the city. Many Christians were tortured and some were executed in public. Thus began the first major persecution of Christians in the history of Rome. After the fire, much of Rome had been reduced to ruins. Nero took this destruction as an opportunity to rebuild the city. According to the new plans, the streets would be made wider and buildings would be constructed with stronger materials to prevent future fires. Slowly, Rome began to rise again from the ashes. But Nero did not stop at rebuilding the city. At the same time, he ordered the construction of a massive and luxurious palace for himself. This palace was built near the center of Rome and was called Domus Aurea, the Golden House. Filled with marble halls, golden decorations, and vast gardens, the palace was meant to display the power and grandeur of the emperor. The fire severely damaged Nero's reputation. The trust people once had in him began to disappear. Much of the city had been destroyed, and rumors were spreading everywhere. Many Romans believed the emperor himself was responsible for the disaster. Over time, the anger was no longer limited to the people. Dissatisfaction with Nero also began to grow in the Senate and within the army. Rebellions started to appear in different parts of the empire. Nero's power was slowly fading. Finally, in 68 AD, Nero was forced to flee Rome. Very few people were still willing to protect him. Realizing that he would soon be captured, he chose to end his own life. According to tradition, his final words were, "What an artist dies in me." Was Nero truly behind the burning of Rome? Or was it only a legend that grew over time? Historians still cannot give a definite answer to this question. Some sources suggest that Nero may have been innocent, while others claim he may have played a role in the disaster. Even today, the truth remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. That night, Rome did not only burn. The reputation, power, and fate of an emperor were changed in those flames.